Hi, Mixer. So we got a whole chicken here. I just pulled the gizzards out. We're gonna start by cutting this guy up. He's still feeling slightly frozen on the inside, but mostly, well, she is feeling mostly frozen on the inside. But I think we're about 90% there, so I think we're okay. Where are you, oyster? There we go. Why would it be so difficult? Just pull away. Save that for bones for later for stock. Along with all the gizzards. We use the rest. There we go. Cut off our extra skin there. Let's get that going here. Now, traditional country fried buttermilk, we do. Let's get rid of the board here. We're done cutting in that nastiness. Chicken skin went into the compost. Just about done here.
I was hoping that I was going to be able to open this and have a nice champagne glass to use, but they haven't been delivered yet. I don't know if they're going to come today. They're supposed to come today. Here. Okay, so we got our chicken. And dairy. It's not buttermilk. We don't have the enzymes from buttermilk to help break down the chicken, but we're not marinating it over 24 hours, so traditionally, this point you'd stop in southern fried chicken. You'd season that a bit better, maybe coat it a bit better, and then let it go. But I'm not doing traditional. I'll do traditional someday, but hopefully gonna end up with something looking quite similar to southern tonight. But I'm not using all quite the same spices, and I'm adding some of my own flair too. Starting with soy sauce. Small bit of cumin. It's more than I expected, but the cumin. The smoked paprika, about double that amount, the amount of cumin. And add a little dried oregano. Aromat, which is salt flavor enhancer, monosodium glutamate, lactose, potato starch, onion, vegetable oil, and fat, turmeric, celery extract, yeast extract, garlic, maltodextrin, and mushroom extract. So a variety of sources of MSG, along with some other plain salts and good stuff. So use a healthy bit of that. Cayenne. Don't need cayenne twice. I don't have any cinnamon left. I need to buy more cinnamon. We'll live without it. Onion powder. And garlic powder. Salt. and lots of black pepper. So we'll get this all good stirring. Oops. Aw. Got all over my garlic and onions. Guess I'm gonna have to quick peel these onions. I know it's Sunday, Postal Lady, but where are you? It's nearly 5 o'clock. I want my stuffs. Knowing me, it would be just the moment she's walking by, but apparently not. So I got a bunch of fat on the stove already. And like I say, we're doing untraditional fried chicken. Not using buttermilk, and we're not letting it set overnight. I just finished butchering this. We're soaking it in half and half soy sauce and a bunch of spices. So we're doing fried chicken. I'm hoping that the postal lady will stop by because I'm supposed to get a nice new set of wine glasses that I ordered holiday money. And gonna do mashed potatoes with that, and I still have the leftover salad from on Friday with the bacon fat dressing. So I figured I'd use up the last of those greens. So another nice salad, some fried chicken, some mashed potatoes, and maybe some champagne. Let's hope. I got this beautiful. I don't want to shake it, move it around a whole lot, but 2014 sparkling. And so let's turn the heat on our fat down here, sort of low, just to get everything going. We'll let this guy continue to marinate. Let's see, do I need anything in here else right now? No, we'll stick potatoes. Potatoes are starting to get a little bit old, starting to feel a little softer even buying them fresh this time of year. They're storing them. This is a combination of cheap veggie oil and lard that I rendered myself before. Unfortunately, I'm losing my meat plan that I had before. So I'm going to have to change up where I'm doing with buying local meat. But I used to get packs of fat from them, and so just cook it down low and slow, and end up with that loveliness after you strain it. This guy's a little disturbed. This probably got a little. Wow. That's looking pretty good. This side, I think I'm going to ditch everything from there on. Just to take out whatever's in there. That'll be fine though. Forgot why I was cutting these. Need them smaller for skins, since I'm leaving the skins on. Not just cook it. Normally, you just, if you're doing it like this, if you have the skins off of them already, you can just cut them even sized and it'll be fine. But I cut them smaller because I don't want giant chunks of skin. but I want to leave the skin on. It's been quite a while since I've done that, but you had to go and make me think about it. When you think about it, it's when it's happens. So much of it is, at least for me at this point, trained muscle memory. I'm not really doing this the way a professional kitchen would though either. Professional kitchen would cut all these in half, then do all the next step on all of them, and the next step on all of them, because you can combine things and get things done quicker that way. Thank you. I've had it quite a while. It's one of those shirts I've had long enough that it's got holes in places I don't really wear it out, but I wear it. It's easier with the potatoes because the starch sort of holds the slices together. I think that's enough potato for me tonight. I'll save the rest of these guys some other time. The real challenge is moving around an onion like that, or one of these other veg, or carrots like that. Carrots don't stick together at all. In fact, carrots half of the time carrots are going, the fiber's going down through the carrot, and so when you slice it, half of the time they instantly warp. Yeah, shouldn't have taken much. That should have happened almost without a flame there. Gonna add water to these taters. Let those rest. Yeah, it's melted, but maybe 150 at the most here that I'm seeing. Yeah, actually, here I can show you better. There's a couple hot spots, but mostly it's around the 130s there. Check my notifications, see if they left my stuff on the front door. I want to open my wine. Well, fat's starting to make noises. Swap mics here so you can hear the fat a little bit better. Oops, wrong mic. I was on the wrong mic to begin with. So I want to give this another 10-15 minutes here before I start getting into fun with flour. Guess I can prep the flour. Still want some more. Okay. Add a bunch more salt here. White pepper this time, since I forgot it the last time. More of our European MSG blend. Just another form of MSG. It's got a whole bunch. I listed the ingredients earlier before I think anyone was in here, but it's got just about every form of MSG you can have rather than just the straight chemical version. Do some more onion and garlic powder. Do some more smoked paprika. And do another pinch of cayenne. Won't do cumin on the outside. Anything else I'm forgetting? I'll leave it at that. Then we'll add some black pepper too, just to make it look official, even though I added white pepper in there too. Okay. Let those guys soak. I normally get my deliveries at like 12:30. I know it's Sunday and it's probably the sub, but I know it's Sunday, which if it wasn't USPS, it wouldn't be delivered today, probably. Yay for United Postal Service, by the way. I was hopeful I was going to be able to unbox them all for you guys and everything. Take a look outside here. So we're going to give it about 5 minutes here, maybe 10 minutes here. What are you guys up to in this world of streaming? What's interesting? What are you up to? What's new in your guys' lives? Other than me not getting my wine glasses, I've been having all sorts of fun. I'm also, along with those wine glasses, getting a hard drive so that I can keep copies of all my streams now. We'll have to see here. I'd like to do YouTube videos, but that's gonna... I'm either going to have to learn editing, which I really don't want to do, and I know the basics of it, and I know it's not something that I really want to learn. I'm going to have to pay for someone to do it. And if I'm paying for someone to do it, I need some views. I need some... Short of having someone do it for a cut of the video royalties, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime quickly. But that is in the plans, and I am saving things, and so, you know, not only could we potentially have quick versions of meals that I've done in the past with recipes, sort of a thing, but I'd love to do some, you know, cuts of thoughts on different wines and stuff like that. We could have some fun with that, or I could have some fun with that. course, if I have someone else to do it, it's going to be a lot better to make fun of me if it's someone else doing the editing. It's a lot easier. We want this up around 325, but like usual, especially here in home. I mean, if I was in a commercial kitchen with a deep fat fryer and then turn it on and crank it, you know, and put it on full high. Here at home, I don't want to raise it up quickly because if I miss it going up, I don't want to miss it by too much. I don't want it to be dangerous up here before I realize that it's ready to go in temp. Box of wine. I haven't had a box of wine for a couple of months now. I do buy boxes of wine occasionally, though. There's some that aren't that bad. But I mean, all of them are, you know, blends of cheaper wines. But they're great to have around for cooking, and they're great, you know, if you just want to have one glass. I mean, you have one glass of a nice bottle of wine. You can't really, I mean, most people do, you know, drink like part of a bottle or half a bottle or 3/4 of a bottle. Where's the one you were talking about? No, I don't have any box wine. I haven't been talking about box wine. I mentioned it in a chat room like today or yesterday, but that was something else. I was making fun of the fact that chefs drink the box wine in the back of the kitchen, you know. The old joke, chefs are drunk on Madeira again. Because not many people drink Madeira, but they use Madeira in a lot of cooking. But no, I've got a bottle of sparkling here that I don't want to shake up very much. I'm still hoping that I'm gonna give it until about 5:30 here before I crack that open, because I'm waiting for the post lady, because I ordered I ordered 2 champagne glasses, and I ordered 2 lighter I think they're Cab Sav glasses off the top of my head. I don't remember which one I decided on. They're not the expensive ones, but they're nice Riedel glasses at the same time too. So I was hopeful that they would be here. They're normally, like I was saying, she's normally here around like noon, but it's Sunday. So hopefully it gets here in the next 13 minutes or so, and I can have a nice champagne glass to open my sparkling with. Show you how they're packaging the. They're also not Rita's cheapest glasses either. They're nice glasses. They're just not the hand blown, you know, $100 a piece Rita glasses. So our next step here with the chicken here, I'm skipping ahead about 3 minutes, but we'll survive. So we're going to coat them all in flour real good. I'm not worried about them getting. We actually sort of want them to get a little gummy and let them to soak up that flour, all that spice, and get it to just stick and gum all over it. So we're going to let these guys sit there and soak up that a little bit. We're going to go back into here and then back over to here. It's weather updating. It's getting late enough now that I'm thinking that it may not even come. I was hopeful. I wonder if chatbot or any of this stuff works for Linux. Look on Streamlabs here if they have anything for Linux. Because I've got an old tablet that, I mean, it's old enough now that it hasn't had updates for a couple of years now. But it's still a functional tablet, and I'm thinking otherwise it's a fully functional tablet. Well, it also doesn't. It's got a broken micro SD card on it too, though, so I don't know how much space it's got on it. But I was thinking maybe I could throw Linux on that thing instead of a ancient version of Android, and put a chat feed so I could see what's going on with the chat over on this side when I'm facing this way. Probably be delayed, but it'd still be better than nothing. You see, you get in the habit of smelling things. Did you notice I just smelled my water? I've got a Pixel 2 XL, which it's one of the big. It's not a Galaxy Note, but okay, we're getting close on temp here. We want to be about 325, and probably are going to hold around this temp actually, because I don't think the flame's going to take it much higher. But well, I didn't like any of the phones this year. These year's phones were all ugly. They all had those giant camera setups on them. Whether it was iPhone or Google or Samsung, they're all up to 3-4 lenses. I wish there was better supported cheaper phones. The cheaper phones are just not supported. They're just not, they're either made by some company that's barely breaking out into the field, and most of the time they don't make it, so the phone isn't there, or the phones are getting pricey, but they got us hooked though. We need our phones. But the next step is all gonna be, like I said, I was thinking of redoing a tablet for other stuff. I've got other ones that I use for security on top of normal house security. Because you can set up old phones using apps to work as motion cameras. And then and once they're it's a matter of probably a little bit of the whole thing with how drugs are incredibly expensive when they don't need to be. There's probably a decent amount of patent payoffs back and forth here that's causing them to be that expensive. I remember at one point they were saying Microsoft was making more off of patents on Android than Android was. And you got other companies like Qualcomm. Okay, on one hand, Qualcomm makes some incredible technologies that no other companies are they're right there with Huawei with doing 5G and all that. But they're essentially a patent troll. They create these things, they create the patents, and then they just litigate everyone for their patents. They at least are creating the technology. They're at least got the development staff. There's worse patent trolls in the world, but you can probably thank a markup on your phone to Qualcomm. Yeah. Of course, now you go into the Toys R Us, the new Toys R Us. Have you been in a new Toys R Us? I haven't yet, but I've read about them. Toys R Us are back in existence again. They completely shut down. They were completely sold. They sold the intellectual to a different company, and they're starting to reopen them. But they're reopening them as sort of like a combination of FAO Schwartz, where you got a ton of stuff that kids can just. It's like a giant playland for kids, where you can sit there and try out toys and stuff like that. And then basically they're offering stuff through like completely other retailers. Like you can go in there and buy stuff from Target online. Like they're not. I mean, I guess they have some retail, but I guess the vast majority of it they're pushing off to online, even though you're in the store, and not even to their own website. Apparently, they're sort of trying to create this niche between, yeah, they're going to help out other online stores, but they're also going to have their own niche products that are only theirs. And the only way you can get them is through them. Because along with that whole Toys R Us next to a drugstore next to a gun store is got to lock you into the Toys R Us experience, the Apple experience, to lock you into their ecosystem. I don't work these days. I do, but I don't. I mean, if I was working as a... Yeah. I occasionally get involved in catering gigs. I know people in the area. I help out with things here and there. If I need cash, I can probably throw a party or something like that. But enjoying life. I most recently ran a mobile kitchen that I'm reimagining what I hope to do here in the next couple of years with. I might have to just sell it. But I had been working out of farmers markets for the last 5 years. Serving coffee, making hot food, making products from farmers. It's worked out in other ways very well for me. I mean, I've got a connection with all the farmers in the local area. I've got connections with some... Nice. Friends with a lot of the small businesses in town, because a lot of them started in the farmers markets. So even while I'm not sitting there pumping out sales to them, they've realized I'm in the industry. Nice. I'm all about Detroit pizza these days. Gotta have that nice airy crust with sort of like focaccia with a crunchy bottom and ugh. That or New York, which they're almost completely different things. Actually, the big three in my mind are all completely different when it comes to pizza. You've got thin, big New York style. You've got Detroit style with the pan style with uh, chunks of brick cheddar or brick mozzarella and is it mozzarella? Not remembering what cheese they use for Detroit off the top of my head, but it's brick cheese. It's chunked. You put the sauce over the chunks of cheese so that it melts up and through the sauce. I like jalapenos. I'm getting to. I just can't do spicy stuff these days. Ugh. But work with I've worked in the past with those guys that work on the line and just love the sweat. They'll sit there and eat jalapenos on the line, be sweating and be cooking. They just love it. That's not me though. I apparently wasn't born with the gut for that. But pizza sounds good. It's been 2-3 weeks for me for pizza. It's one of the common ones that I have on my days off. Because I don't think any American, most people in most of the world these days, but especially Americans, can't avoid pizza. Let's get our oven on. Set that to 300. Got a pan with a rack on it here. Put this next to our frying station. Alright, I guess I'm opening mine without wine glasses. Well, without a champagne glass. I even made it harder to get at my older glasses. Organized my drinking cabinet here. Or reorganized it. Where are you? There you are. Always keep a hand on a corked bottle, especially when you're removing the cage and any time after you take the cage off. And I usually just move the cage so that it's out of the way and it's already trying to move. I didn't even turn that or anything. That just popped right off. You want to hold the bottle at an angle when you open it when it comes to sparklings, because it increases how much surface you've got so the bubbles don't overflow. Since we got it here, now watch, this will be the moment that the post lady comes by with my glasses now. So this is Iron Horse's Gratitude wine. It's a 2014 vintage, but they created this label and this line 2 years ago, 1 year ago. And so they basically made this wine as a support to all the wildfires that we've been having in California. And so percentage of these wines are going towards helping, I forget in what form, whether it's helping out the people that were impacted or whether it's paying towards the firefighters and all that. But slightly tinted, a little bit of a, mostly golden, but there's a little bit of a rose hue there. Not incredibly bubbly, but it's got a decent dosage to it still. Some larger bubbles, but most, it's sort of a nice combination. It's sort of a cute combination of, got some really nice fine bubbles. The finer bubbles are typically you're looking for in fine champagnes, and you get some larger bubbles there too along with it. It's sort of a mix. Hey, Wizard. Let's see how our potatoes are boiling here. So we'll just cover those up and let those set until we're ready to mash those. Okay, I think we're probably time we can turn our heat up a bit more on this. So back into the dairy here. everything wet again, making sure we're all happy, well seasoned. So we go back to the flour. We're going to let this sit here for another minute or two. Before we do a final batch in the flour and into the oil. But I didn't answer your question, you Wizard. Everything is going lovely other than the fact that I wish I had gotten my postal delivery a couple hours ago. We love our local USPS though. It's just because it's Sunday. FedEx, on the other hand, UPS, on the other hand, we could live without those. We like USPS. This isn't kidding. FedEx, half of the time I get my packages crushed by them. Don't want to turn up much past that where we're at. Yeah. Waiting on two major things. There's a couple other smaller insignificant stuffs in the package, but in the order. But main things is I bought myself 4 new wine glasses. Got myself 2 nice new champagne glasses. So I don't have a proper champagne glass for my sparkling tonight. So I'm waiting on my wine glasses. I wanted to open up the wine glass to show you guys what my new wine glasses look like. And the other thing is I bought a 8 terabyte hard drive. I did the math figuring somewhere a 2 to 3 hour max. That'll record my streams for the next year. Legacy, you get the pink tag by being having a Mixer Pro sub. Mixer Pro, I forget what it is. Is it $5 or $6? Mixer Pro, you get it wipes out ads on this platform, which isn't too much because they don't have a ton of ads on Mixer yet. But it also, I guess it's better for people who have Xboxes as well for viewing. I don't know all the other things to it, but just getting rid of the ads is worth it to me. So our oven's warmed up. Now it's getting dark enough. I live on the back part of a property too. I share the property with another rented location, and which works out great because there's always someone here. But I have a feeling that it's getting later now and it's now dark outside. I may not get that delivery to my door either. I probably get that delivery to my neighbor's door if they show up still tonight. But this is, I didn't say much about the wine. This is quite lovely. This is fruity. This is bright. I don't know if it's gonna stand up to fried chicken, but sparkling and fried chicken is sort of. I mean, it's fried chicken. There's not a ton of stuff that's gonna go great with it because of how much spice it's got. You really got they're really suggesting this and Rieslings and stuff like that with fried chicken because they're acidic. They're dry. So this got a lot of light fruit to it. It's got a bit of yeastiness to it. It's quite yummy. I like the. This is out of the. Is it Green Valley? Green Valley? Yeah, Green Valley. They're. I haven't quite pinned it all down, but their rosés out of the Green Valley, I've really liked a lot of those. I don't know if they're distributing Gratitude more than just locally here. Like I said, it's a wine that's supporting the California wildfires. Obviously not sponsored by them. I've recently learned that apparently it's against mixer rules. I should have probably read this before, but apparently against mixer rules or state rules or something along that line. I have to read further to be promoting age-restricted products, which makes sense. Want this up around 325. We had it hotter earlier and it cooled down because I was working on other things. We should get some cream and butter going with our potatoes. Guesstimating that's enough for our potatoes tonight. I like my pepper and I like my MSG. Very light, very subtle nose to it. It's not a very strong wine. It's very acidic. It'd be great as a. This wine would be amazing with seafood as a like acidic counterpoint to like shellfish. I'm thinking like crab or maybe oysters, but definitely clams, definitely mussels. You still got a flame there, barely. My range, I have to sort of start worrying about gas levels after I've got 2 burners going, because the amount of gas flow going into it, it'll keep 4 burners running, but it ain't gonna put 4 burners on at high as it is 1 on high. Sort of quirky. Every range gets its own personalities. Yep, I'll be right here, Legacy. I hope you have fun. I assume you're planning to go and play a couple games. COD again tonight? By the way, Wizard, I enjoyed what little I caught of your stream the other day. Unfortunately, it was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was just waking up. So, and you were wrapping up. Why isn't that doing that? It's so weird. I'm typing into chatbot for Streamlabs, and it's not sending it to the room, even though it says I'm connected. I'm gonna have to toy with that after I'm done. Yeah, I try and keep going and keep cleaning, but I've been getting worse and worse as we go along here with streaming. I'm procrastinating more and more on the cleaning until after I'm done and next morning sort of thing. But we'll see. But yeah, it's always a struggle to keep going clean. Not having I don't have a dishwasher, so not having a dishwasher helps a lot with that, because then you get into, okay, I gotta clean it up, otherwise it's gonna be a mess. It's not gonna be hidden. But you did quite a bit there. You were doing bread, and that bread looked like it turned out all right. You did chocolate cake. What else did you do the other day? Nice, nice. I also don't have a mixer of any real sort. Do I still? I might have a little hand mixer around here somewhere. That's seen better days, if I remember. Trying to do the TV magic of having one ready when the other one's just going in. But probably top of my list of things that I need from my kitchen, and I'm being picky about it, which is probably causing me more time waiting to get one, is I want a professional small mixer. Not one of the KitchenAids that's all plastic geared up. Yeah, it'd be a large learning experience. I mean, I've had them in business and work experience, but I'd love to have one to toy around with home. I'd do all sorts of breads and stuff. Like I have a pretty, I mean, like probably at least the early parts of my career was a lot of baking, and so I have a lot of early baking experience. So I'd love to do some breads. I'd love to do some rolls. I'd love to do like challah and stuff like that. But that's gonna all have to wait until the fudge that I made. I made a fudge for holiday fudge this year, and I mixed that by hand, and it turned out all right and turned out okay for what I was doing. But I realized after doing that having that mixer that would have been able to mix it faster and more completely as I was adding the warm chocolate into the sugar mixture would have worked much better, and I would have had a much better product. So I really want a mixer for all sorts of reasons, but yeah, there's definitely a learning curve too. Love focaccia. I was I don't know if you were around here or not, but I was just talking to Legacy Wolf how I love Detroit style pizza with that same sort of fluffy, soft dough. It's got a crispy bottom to it, but yeah, I love focaccia. I don't really eat focaccia because it's just like a giant plate of carbs. But yeah, I love focaccia. I love the light, soft, airy breads. Even though most of the light, soft, airy breads, especially the commercial ones, are horrible for you. I have to be careful with this pan on this stove. Another thing that I have to be careful with, especially with oil or a roux or something like that, where you mess up and it burns you. This is an aluminum pan, and I think it spot welds to my range top, and so it'll stick a little bit not weld as in it doesn't move anymore, but weld that it sticks. And so you'll get jarring. You'll get, create waves, and it'll make it splash a lot easier. Good over here, not so good over here. Welcome to the club. I always tell people, I've told it here on stream a couple of times to people about how I worked at Arizona Biltmore. This was years ago. I did a college extern. Yeah, I don't like that either. But it's a big. It was I think Arizona Biltmore. It changes because they have suites that they actually like rent out. How many rooms they have? But it's in the ballpark at 820 rooms, and it's a 4-star, 4-diamond resort. The only reason it's not a 5-star is literally because of square footage. It's where all the presidents go when they're visiting Phoenix. But 800-person room, and they had, I think we did over 2,000 in one night when we were there, plated dinners for parties and special events. They had Muhammad Ali's foundation there for dinner when I was there. That just packed out the place. But they have, when you get into hotels and stuff of that size, they literally have conveyor ovens where, you'll have 8 different platforms. And if I remember correctly, they had 8 different shelves, and each shelf could handle 8 sheet pans, and it just rotates. And so when you get to that, you have, your window here for the oven that's open, and you got to pull out 8 pans. If you don't got room to move those 8 pans behind you, you're stuck there with pans straight out of the oven. You're holding on to them with nowhere to go. And because you cannot leave them back in that oven, because it'll take too long to do another rotation, they'll burn. You're literally stuck there holding oven hot pans. So that was my extern experience. My sous chef literally would sit there with it on his fingertips for a couple of minutes. He had held on to them that long. Okay, we're about there. So we'll go back to the flour for our first batch that we're going to throw in. There are rarely ads on Mixer, which I like too. As a streamer, I especially like not having to pump Amazon Prime every 5 minutes in order to get subscribers. Which, I don't know, maybe Microsoft is losing out there, but that's certainly something that influenced my choice of streaming platform. Having to remind people every month that they have to resubscribe is sort of ridiculous, just so that they can get some extra advertising. Alright, so we got 4 pieces there. Make sure we're coated here. And into the oil. breaking out the mini tongs to pull it back out. The baby tongs. Just the smell of the fat cooking brings back so many memories to me of, you know, sitting at hot apps. Chicken fingers. Over and over and over again. Hate chicken fingers. Don't mind eating them. Hate making them. I tried Twitch to begin with, and I did 2 or 3 months, and I completely forget what it was, what the reason was, but I had a reason that I wanted to contact support, and obviously as a new streamer, I wasn't like partnered up or anything, didn't have like contacts I could do or anything. And so as a beginning streamer on Twitch, if you want support, you literally have to go to the Amazon website to get support for Twitch. And the whole experience just completely put me off of their platform and their service level. And on top of it, right then was right when Ninja switched. I was like, okay, Microsoft is putting money into their platform. They want to be a serious cloud company as well. This makes sense, and I moved over. And since then, I've realized that all of them are moving into the whole ecosystem. We were talking before, Legacy. We're going to have Xbox wrapped up into Mixer, and we're going to have all the other platforms. You got Google with Stadia, and so they're all going to tie their games into these platforms. The sparkling is wonderful. This is I drink a lot of Iron Horse. I don't know. I know Legacy knows that, but it's a local vineyard to me, and I really like, especially their sparkling rosé. But I like their Russian River Cuvée, which is sort of a sweeter, but it's still a dry wine, but it's on the sweeter side of a dry wine. Leave that one more moment in here. We're getting close here, though. But as I was saying, it's very light. It's got a lot of light, bright, citrusy. Citrus is the wrong word. Like pear, light fruit, stone fruit. Very great wine. Very nice wine. Would go great with seafood, especially with shellfish. For this, I think the acidity will work well. But that's mostly all you got to go here with all the spice you got in the chicken. Very happy with it though. Not getting much at all on the nose on it. There is a decent yeast flavor to it, which I like in my sparklings. And turn the heat off on the cream and butter and back. We have the right microphone here. You guys hear what I'm doing? Yeah, okay. You pull these guys, I'm going to leave the other guys in here slightly longer than these ones, because these guys are going to be in the oven a little bit longer. So we'll pull these slightly lighter than the others. We'll hit all of them with salt here. I grabbed kosher even though finer or ground salt works better when you're working with fried foods, because it doesn't, like if you notice, if you drop kosher salt on the fried food, it has more of a tendency to bounce off, just because it's a larger grain, I'm guessing. So we'll throw these guys down in our oven. We got an oven at 300 degrees. I'd love to be sponsored by all sorts of people. I don't think it's going to happen with 3 viewers, though. No offense, love you guys. But like, I'd love to have wine sponsorships and stuff, but like I said, I guess it's against the rules to have a age-sponsored or age-limited product. So things like, sort of an easy way of writing out things like tobacco and liquor. So maybe I'll get KitchenAid to give me a free mixer one of these days. Let's make sure we're back up the temperature here. And we're not, so we gotta wait a minute. Oops. Helps if we turn the heat off on the right thing there. I left the heat on the cream and butter and actually turned it up here. We're starting to curdle the cream. And turned off the oil. Oops. I already made fun of Logitech if you look at my Instagram. This guy is still working, by the way. The num block isn't working anymore, but if you look on on Instagram, you notice my coffee setup is right here next to. I spilled my coffee grinds and coffee all over my keyboard like 2-3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago, and I realized it was going to be such a project that I was going to have to remove all the keycaps. I was going to have to scrub it all down and probably still be all in there. I just took it, threw it in the sink and sprayed the whole thing down. Still works. $6.19. You guys think I'm getting my package tonight? The line on Amazon's thing showing delivery keeps getting closer. It's sort of funny. I wonder if they actually keep track of where. Oh, I know they keep track of it, but I wonder if Amazon actually keeps track of where that UPS truck is, or if they're just assuming because of time. Wow, that's dropped quite a bit here. This may take a sec to heat back up. Yeah, I was looking for something when I put this together earlier this year, or last year now. What I did last year when I started streaming was I bought myself a new main PC. And my old PC, I upgraded the video card and then bought the webcams and the keyboard. So, keyboard is relatively new, and I tried to find a keyboard that was waterproof that would work well in the kitchen. And I ended up going with cheap Logitech rather than trying to find something, properly suited for being in here. It being Logitech, I still assume it to be pretty simple to use and probably pretty durable. It's not like they're using mechanical switches or anything like that. Yeah, Legacy, I'm certain that UPS and FedEx and them track their trucks, but I'm also thinking that it's probably a security issue for them to say exactly where that truck is. Probably a security issue of someone just holding up a truck that's brand new and full. So I can understand them not wanting to tell you, the end consumer, exactly where it is, but it'd be pretty awesome with that line there. They're maybe slightly doing that, but it'd be pretty awesome if they had it it's 60% done, not telling you where it is, but it's close. Yeah, I did. I agree, Gismity. Uh, I do that for I did do that a lot for commercial equipment because when it comes to kitchen commercial equipment, getting that NSF sticker that the health department wants you to have, that it's made from materials that are going to last. It's built to be durable. It's built to be food safe and not contaminate. Um, it's a 5-year NSF requires 5 years to get their certification. So, you know, if you're thinking about building a new product, you have to have that product for 5 years before you can put that sticker on it that a commercial kitchen can use it. And so just about everything that's NSF certified or certified to be used in the kitchen is expensive. I mean, it could be a plastic spoon and it's $40 more because it's an NSF spoon. And so a lot of the times, with coffee, I used a coffee grinder all the time. And rather than paying for a $2 or $3 grand or even a $1,600 used grinder, I bought a $200 one off of the shelf that's for home and overused the heck out of it, figuring that I could replace it 10 times before I even got to the same level as a commercial. But I do that for yeah, it's all designed forever to last forever. And then you have products like the KitchenAids and the Vitamixes of the world that have sort of done this balancing game. They're making a product that is certified NSF, so it's expensive, but they're sort of offsetting that expense by making it cheap enough that they can mass produce it for homes. And so you'll have those that are just on the edge. That's sort of like the more expensive equipment you find in a kitchen. They'll maybe be certified. We're at least back up to 300 here. Oh, I can get rid of this guy. We're bubbling, that's a good sign. We'll be quiet, train. Probably use a ton of water compared to most people especially in Northern California. But considering how much I've seen used in commercial kitchens, this ain't an issue. Have a good walk, man. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a great evening. Let's see, can we put the last of our chicken in here yet? No. Still waiting for 325 here. Yeah, and I worry less about spraying a pan or leaving my water running when I know that I've worked in kitchens where their idea of keeping your utensils clean is putting them in a bain marie under a running faucet entire shift. Yeah, I'm not surprised, and now actually a lot of states are. I know Michigan just recently passed a law that all package deliveries are now with penalties, because there's penalties with tampering with the mail service, but that doesn't cover FedEx, that doesn't cover UPS. So they're not federally protected, and so you get those things stolen off of your doorstep. Tough luck. I don't know if they have better restrictions here in California. And turn the oven down here since these guys have been in the oven so long. You know, I actually think this worked better this way. I normally do normally when I'm frying chicken, I normally do the three-step method with breadcrumbs and flour and egg. Cleanup's a lot easier this way. I just got 2 pans. let's see how we're doing here with the taters. Those are well cooked now. Drain the water off of these guys. Not worry about a little bit of it because it'll probably be so starchy that it won't matter. Pour our broken butter and cream over the top here. What I don't understand, you're talking about prices of phones. I don't understand why an iPhone is $1,000, but people still expect their milk for $1. Fully grown cow, so about 2 years, plus having a child, it is now producing on average about 6 gallons of milk a day. That's twice harvesting from the cow. And so you're gonna make $6 off of a cow that you've had for 2 years. It's just, and the supermarket and the delivery and the packaging is all going into that. It's the cost of some things in food is just the idea that corn and soy are so cheap because we need it to feed it to cattle. This whole trade thing with China, we've now paid farmers probably approaching 3 times, but well more than twice in payouts because China isn't buying our soy, than we did to bail out the automakers a couple of years ago. They said I'm going to leave these guys in a little bit longer. I'm going to have to leave the chicken breasts in here definitely a little bit longer, but I'm going to leave that leg and wing in a little bit longer so that they're closer matched to this color after they've been in the oven for a little bit. It's not very stressful, it's just irritating to me. I mean, I understand with $1 milk, the supermarket's probably not making any money at all. They're probably marking it down as a sales item to get people in to buy other things. But really? Yeah, it's the way of the world. I just complain about it. Be good with that. I'll live with that. Make my salad. I'm just going to do the bacon fat with the bacon fat vinaigrette, which I'll warm up here in the microwave. And some lettuce grains. Just do pretty simple. Leaving myself one more salad out of that bunch. Just a quick 10-20 seconds here on the microwave, get it a good shake. Throw it in here for another 10 seconds. Take a look, see how our chicken breasts are looking. Yeah, that guy's been kicking around since I made the enchiladas. I didn't need him. Should make myself another one of those. Those margaritas were great. I'm not normally a margarita guy. Those things were awesome. Now we're at least liquid. Continue to give it a good shake. Gonna give it another 10 seconds here. That'll normally in my microwave bring that up to oh, yep, just like I thought. That popped our lid on our vinaigrette, so that means we're definitely up to temp. Last dinner was amazing. Actually had the last of it for lunch today, and it lasted well for lunch today. I had that for dinner that night, and then on Saturday night I had the leftover enchiladas from Wednesday. And those lasted well in the fridge too. Those were great. Perhaps a bit too mushroomy. Gonna have to add a bit. I think I did too much mushroom in that batch, but the enchiladas turned out great. But yeah, I mean, how can you not like bacon and veggies and eggs? Cut the heat on these guys now. I have too much respect for tamales to make those at home. Maybe sometime in the long future. But when it comes to making tamales is without question a multi-day. I'd have to like dedicate a week to tamales, because I would want to go through the whole nixtamalization process. I don't even normally keep lime. I would want to treat the corn. I would want to go through it and do the whole thing, because I think buying masa and making tamales just from straight masa in the home is sort of, yeah. Those are nice and brown. And that guy is nearly cooked through. This guy is mostly cooked through too. This guy needs a minute or two in the oven, or at least a little carryover cooking. So we got our oil off. Pan is warm, but I can handle it. Throw that guy in the oven. We're gonna forget about this guy until tomorrow. Tomorrow, what I'll do with the oil, what I typically do with the oil, and this is sort of on its last legs. I'll use this maybe once more. Don't let me use it twice or more. But what I'll do is I'll wait for this to cool, wait for next morning to be room temperature, and then I'll run it through a filter with a coffee filter in it, and pull out all of the burnt flour, all of the sediment, everything that's left in that oil now, all the foamy stuff. And generally it'll be pretty good. But you can only do that so often because it'll eventually be flavored by what you're cooking. I'm not doing a lot of light flavored seafood, so it's a little bit less of an issue. Yeah. Part of the reason why I let it wait overnight is I typically use leftover plastic jug to store it in. This is an old vinegar container. And there's no worries about, I'm going to be pouring it and stuff like that. If I wait until the morning, it's fat. I don't have to worry about it going rancid that quickly. And so don't have to worry about burning myself. Oh, I sort of want a second one of these bowls. Guess we'll use a plate. Gonna buy some new plates too. Not a lot, just like 2 or 4, just so I have some variety in showing the stuff. Instead of purple or my fancy white plates that are family hand-me-downs that I care about too much to use regularly. So, second bacon salad there. grab ourselves some mashed potatoes here. Nice hefty scoop of potatoes. Oh, sorry if you're using microphones or headphones. And let's see what we got to choose from for our chicken here. Turn the oven off and leave the residual oven heat here to keep things going. Go. And let's do a wing. Thigh and a drumstick. There we go. Because I know those are all cooked through well. A little worried. I think this guy is well cooked through it. A little worried about this last guy a little bit. Where's my phone? Instagram photo time. Don't have a plan yet for Wednesday. Probably should have thought that one through. So it'll be a surprise. I update my stream title as soon as I have a plan. So if you ever want to know ahead of time, my stream title will probably tell you ahead of time. I wait until day of to do the dinner command though. Until I figure out what I actually bought. Alright, Instagram photos are done. I'm gonna go and eat some chicken. Hope you guys all had fun. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for stopping by. Dismitty, it's been a while since I think I've seen you. I will be back on Wednesday, but I don't have plans. So something else interesting, something new. Always trying something new. Things. Have a great night, guys.